I just want to briefly tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in St. Louis. I grew up primarily in public housing. I attended parochial and public school. I graduated from Beaumont High School in 1972. I went on to St. Louis University. I graduated with a degree in urban affairs. They now call it urban planning. I went on to the University of Missouri Columbia's Law School. I'm the first African-American female to graduate from that law school. When I got out of law school, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I wanted to get my master's in urban planning, so I took a job as a development specialist. I worked with a group of neighborhood organizations in North St. Louis. It was funded by the Catholic Church. I worked for Penrose, O'Fallon, Fairground, College Hill. I wrote grants, I did development plans, I licked stamps. I wrote a newspaper, and I also distributed that newspaper. And then it came a time after about a year, I decided that I would get into the practice of law. I was hired by St. Louis County as the first African-American female to serve as an attorney for St. Louis County government, and this was during the Republican administration when Gene McNary was the county executive and Tom Worley was the county counselor. I served there. While there, the economy was far more better than it is now. I moved up in seniority quickly, mainly because people went out and got other jobs. I was the in-house attorney for the police department and also employment and training. After that, I left. I came to the city of St. Louis. I was appointed the youngest and first female of the Department of Welfare. I was over jails, programs for the aged, children's services, and the Office of Disabled. And I sat on the Board of Public Service. I've also served as a member of the Board of Aldermen 2 terms. I also was the administrative judge of City Court. I've also been a judge in St. Louis County in the village of Hillsdale, and at one time I also was their village attorney. I like to bring the totality of that experience to address the serious issues that we are confronted with in this city. One of the things that we need to confront, and it is public education. And there's some excellent models out there. I would look to San Diego, who has a model of engaging. What makes a good public school? Low teacher-student ratio, safe environment, good teachers, parental involvement, and community involvement. So then I would take that $100,000 that the present administration spends on one liaison person, and I would utilize that money to help engage people in the community to participate in our public schools to strengthen it. The other issue that we have to deal with, and you can spend the numbers all you want to, but when you get through, we have a crime problem in the city of St. Louis. If there's crime in any area of this city, because I know we're divided by wards politically, but we are one city.
That's right.
So as crime impacts a portion of our city, it impacts all of our city, because we have to become a city for all. And so one of the things that we need to do is obtain local control of our police department.
That's right.
Because unless we can deal with restructuring public safety, and we have to do that through controlling our police department, because we spend more than a third of our budget on the police department. How would you like to run your household and have a third of your budget being controlled basically by someone else? We have to get control of it. I heard them talk about homelessness. The reason why we have such a homeless problem in the city of St. Louis is affordable housing. Many people that are homeless are gainfully employed. If you look at the U.S. Census data in the city of St. Louis, people who rent in the city of St. Louis, almost 50% of those individuals spend more than 30% of their income on rent. Under the definition of affordability that HUD gives, that's not affordable. If you look at individuals who purchase property, 31% of those individuals, 31% spend more than 30% of their income on their house note. That's not affordability.
That's right.
And it's tied directly to the way we do development in this city. We have been irresponsible in the way that we've done development. And that's stunning. I'm just going to give you a few examples and how it also ties into the homeless issue. There was a development that was put forth on the Mississippi Bluff area, down in 11th Ward. The first developer that came had a mixed-use housing, okay? The city didn't support that deal. What deal did they support? They supported a deal that involved condos that cost $429,000. I was down in that area last week with one of my supporters and his mother, going around the ward, and we visited that facility. Guess how many people live there? 3. 3 people have some beautiful condos overlooking the river.
That's right.
And the rest of the land is vacant.
That's right.
We could have had some affordable housing there that would have put a dent in
That's right.
the homeless situation that we have in this city. We have a crisis in employment in this city. I submit to you that if you look at the U.S. Census data, and as you know, the city of St. Louis is a county, and that information is divided by counties. Ever since Francis Slay has been in office, except for the month of April 2001, we have had chronic unemployment in this city. It has not been addressed. It needs to be addressed, and this is how I will begin to address it when I become mayor. We need to look at green technology and solar technology in terms of creating energy savings, but also in terms of creating jobs.
Right.
There are plans out there in terms of green building that we must become involved in. And there are patterns out there and prototypes that we can follow. We can look at what has been done with the Barefoot College. We can look at what the Veterans for Green are doing in terms of building green. In 2007, there was a forum at the Botanical Garden in which various municipalities, Kansas City, they talked about what was their plan and initiative for green technology. Guess what? The city of St. Louis had none. It was most embarrassing because everyone else did. And I submit to you that when I become mayor of the city of St. Louis, we are going to have a plan to deal with green technology, solar technology, making our buildings more energy efficient. The other thing that we have to address is structured recreational opportunities for our children. And this is one of the reasons why we have a crime problem in the city. The Division of Youth Services has been dismantled.
Yes.
Under the present administration, the director was fired. Money was actually sent back to Washington that could have been used to provide structured recreational opportunities for our children. I submit to you, our city charter says that we're supposed to have a Division of Youth Services. And when I become mayor, we are going to have a Division of Youth Services because we need a governmental entity that coordinates services throughout this city. The citizens said that we're supposed to have it, and I will uphold the charter and make sure that we do. There are so many issues that we confront in this city. And one of the things that we have to do is begin to think outside the box. We have become so accustomed to making deals and cutting deals that we forget about the people. And government, city government was created to benefit people and not politicians. And when I become mayor of the city of St. Louis, it's going to be people first. And we are going to become a city for all because we're going to address the racial divide. It's an uncomfortable feeling. People don't like to talk about it. But if we are going to move forward in this city, we have to confront it. We have had, I think at one time, it was like 300 and something studies that said that racial inequality in this city holds us back. We don't have the luxury of not dealing with it. And as mayor, I believe that there are models out there. We can look at the model that they used in Memphis and other cities to address this issue. And so on March 3rd, I'm asking you, of course, tonight for your endorsement, but on March the 3rd, I'm asking you to go to the polls and elect me as your next mayor for the city of St. Louis. Thank you.